Hey everybody, it's Tommy with a better time. And earlier on in the videos, you saw a Computron that I did, a Bulova Computron. The Computrons came out; they were the first sort of famous red light up watches, with the LED, the light emitting diode, as opposed to the LCD, the liquid crystal display. Very, very iconic piece, and they refer to it as the driver's watch because of how it sits on the wrist. This is another of the Bulova Computrons. This one, however, is in stainless steel, and this one is in the box. Bulova Computron. This one is actually 1 year later. It is the 1977 model. And if we remove this from the box and take the watch off, it has the original Bulova strap, right? The watch is in really, really good shape. Very little band stretch. I mean, there's a little, but these were actually bands that, because of how they were built, it's not like a, like a Jubilee bracelet or an Oyster bracelet. The Oyster is always really, really sort of stiff until it starts to get some band stretch. The Jubilee is never really stiff. This one is sort of in between. So this was kind of a bracelet that had a little bit of play in it from day one. This did not get a lot of wear. And once again, it's a runner. This one, let me give this a little wipe here so that there's no fingerprints on the display. Unlike the last one, this, if you look down, there's no chipping, no marks on this at all. This is the driver's watch, again, because of how it sits on the wrist, right? It would be on there like that, so that when you're driving a car, you could look, and that would light up right there. Also has, again, like the other, it has the date function on there as well. Just a very, very iconic timepiece. Now, people, this is not new old stock. It was worn, but it does have box and papers. And very much like the last one, this is sold as a his/hers set. And what that means basically is we are passing along two of the exact same watch, only one being a woman's and one's being a man's. If you remember, we showed you the gold last time. Well, here's one of the gold Bulova Computron ladies' watch. And the ladies' watches, both of them are new old stock. These have never been worn. No marks on them at all. We acquired these not from the same person, but there was an estate that was selling two ladies' Bulova Computrons. So the stainless steel and the gold, they're his and hers sets. So kind of cool. If you're into watches and your girl is, it gives you an opportunity to buy both. And the stainless steel also has, it came out a year later, right? So this would be the 77, whereas the last one I just showed you is the 76. And once again, clean. The woman's is new old stock. The men's is not, but it is boxed and papered. And by papered, the original Computron by Bulova, owner's manual. And I'll tell you what, you almost kind of need it because it's, it's a little bit more complicated, especially, boy, I bet it was really complicated in 1976. Now we sort of have a pretty good idea of how most, digital watches set and all of the different things on there. But it's nice to have, the original box and papers. That's, for those who are into vintage, even if you're not, even if you're getting a new watch, it's nice to have all the paperwork. It's just a cool thing. But if you're into vintage, that is sort of key because it tells the history of the watch. Every watch tells a story, and this was a great story. The Bulova Computron was, it was a big name watch, and they were coming out with something that was so high tech. I mean, this was really cutting edge, and it's funny because when I was a kid, my brother and my dad were they're big into playing tennis. It was never really my thing, but they would spend a lot of time down at the tennis club in the town that we grew up in, and we had a pro down there. His name was Paul. I thought he was one of the coolest guys in the world, rode a motorcycle. And he had a Computron. And I guarantee you that the kids there wore out that watch because every time we'd see him, we'd go, let us see the, hit it. Because we all wanted to see the display of the numbers. And a very patient guy would always click that and let us get a look at it. But yeah, one of those really, really iconic timepieces. Noah, what's the price on the stainless steel Computron, his and hers? That is $1,900 for the pair, and that is because the difference in price is because of the box and papers, obviously. The gold has actually some plating on there. It's precious metal. It was probably originally slightly more expensive of the two models, but you don't see as many of the stainless steel around now, and certainly you're not finding too many of them boxed in papers. There's $1,900 or best offer, and that is for a his and a hers. Okay, so yeah, here's your shot. You want to own a really sort of cool, hip, retro, vintage watch. The Bulova Computron really fits the bill for that. And this one, people, is boxed and papered. So his and hers. I'm Tommy with a better time, and we'll see you on the next watch.